So the program Disha started on June 5th online, and physically the at the center, the Wonder Room Center at Guwahati, the same thing got started. So it had a physical component and also a online component. And if you see, the two lectures were there, one on Wednesday, other on Saturday at 3 p.m. Roughly 1.5 hours each. And as per the topic uh, that was scheduled, and it was on June. And attendance were on an average 20 to 30. That's the range we have noticed. Program shall close September 8th. App presentation challenge, one more we have scheduling on August 20. Uh, then another tournament on chess September 5th. Online examination September 8th. So this is the pending thing, but most of the courses have been already covered. Then we did have the small group doubt clarification daily 1 hour at 5 p.m. That is what it was going on. And this is where we had the major, I would say, the attendance less than five. I think that's what. But the I mean, the good part is the most of them have done assignments. As Rohit has reported, that assignments are done. Though attendance are low in the tutorial, but assignments are there. Now, these meetings, of course, we did have continuously, almost once a week or then once in 2 weeks, internal review and feedback, and that was also useful. Some of the useful was, we have feedback mechanism, feedback system was not there earlier. I mean, from the beginning, but now we have picked up based on the feedback given during this review meeting, uh, and uh, uh, and the learning, of course, was followed by this system. What I call it, the four halves. The different ways to learn, and that have to be strengthened. Uh, Strengthened through lecture, practice, and tutorials, and Sadbhavana Swadhyay group. So that was the whole concept, and the entire design and approach was based on this. Now, if you see the tools, these are the tools we have been already covered. The blue color is already covered. All these, this is what we have planned, and all of them have been covered, except the did not do live chess, that chess game. Maybe this is one pending. We will. Then we have covered all of these. Uh, in fact, if you see the online pictures, we have covered Snapseed, Lightroom, Kind Master, Power Director, and we also covered one India tourism app. Then podcast for education, Storytel, audiobook, maths app, full frame alpha, Duolingo. All these are the things have been covered, and the feedback. This is the feedback. Though it is not available from the beginning, but lately this is the feedback we have received after the lecture. Here the lecture topic, faculties, and people have said excellent and good. And then some people did say that there is a internet problem like this, in this case. Total attendance, you can see, and out of these total, these many people have given feedback. Let's say the first one, PowerPoint, only 30. I mean, this is a pretty good actually. Half of them gave feedback. But later on, the feedback number has reduced. I think the motivation. Then the last, the tourism thing that was done, 3 feedback, and it is 100% excellent. And there are some, narratives kinds of thing, in case of PowerPoint, they said it was really very satisfying with the lecture class. It was very nice. And the teacher thanked everything. Thanks, so there's some descriptive that you can read. There's no news. So they really enjoyed the lecture. This class is very useful to us. was very nice. I'm satisfied. In case of e-commerce, there was no such narrative feedback. In case of Google Calendar, thank you for the good lectures. In tourism के लिए, I was really very satisfied maybe with the lecture, and I learned many new things about tourism. Nice class, good. Satisfied today's class. I'm not go to Delhi, Agra, but today I know all information of Agra. So tourism. The lecture was good, so people could travel virtually. Thank you a lot. So that's all. The future next program focus on education. I mean, this is just one thinking. If I in the beginning we thought of keeping the focus on tourism, but that we could not do it. Maybe we got little bit of a confusion because of the whether we focus on a student or focus on the women who are coming. But later we realized that the number of women who are coming was so less, so that should not have affected. We could have actually focused on education more. I think that definitely I see there is a bit of a losing of the focus in the beginning. But now, as I see, though the program is successful, and since it was the first time, we are also trying to discover it. And my knowledge about this program was essentially meant for interact children. Then I think it could have positioned itself more on the education than with the other things. That was my sense, and that is why I feel maybe in the next program we may consider more of education. And you see, if you have a more focus, then maybe the impact is more deeper. Yeah, that's all I have here. And if of course Rohit, since he has been from the beginning involved, maybe he would like to add, and Sujata ma'am and Tainat. I will stop here.
Thank you, Subhaji. Rohit?
Yeah. सो स्टार्टअप से जो भी रहा था, हमारी क्लास का जो भी एक्सपीरियंस है, काफ़ी मुझे अच्छा रहा। जो कि स्टार्टअप जो थी काफ़ी मतलब कि अटेंडेंस भी काफ़ी अच्छी थी, लोग इंटरेस्टेड थे और काफ़ी संख्या में लोग आते भी थे। तो हमें पढ़ाने में भी मज़ा आता था, उन लोगों को पढ़ने में भी मज़ा आता था। और जो कि स्टार्टअप की जो टॉपिक्स वगैरह जो हमारी थी ना, तो वो हम लोग लाइवलीहुड, एजुकेशन, कुछ पार्ट्स को हमने कवर किया था। तो काफ़ी लोग आए थे। बाद में क्या हुआ, धीरे धीरे हम लोग धीरे धीरे एजुकेशन पे शिफ्ट हो रहे थे। सो जिस कारणवश कुछ जो कि घर की महिलाएं वगैरह थी, तो उन लोगों के लिए शायद थोड़ा कम उनको अट्रैक्ट कर पाए, और बच्चे इसमें थोड़े से इन्वॉल्व रह गए क्योंकि एजुकेशन पार्ट्स थे, तो वो लोग सीखना ज़्यादा पसंद किए। और अभी भी बच्चे मतलब कि अभी भी खड़े हैं हमारे साथ और वो जुड़े हुए हैं। कुछ महिलाएं कम हुई हैं और नए बच्चे भी ऐड हुए हैं, जिस कारण से हमारी अटेंडेंस जो कि इम्प्रूवमेंट है, ऐसा नहीं कि कम है। अटेंडेंस मुझे ठीक ठाक मिल रहा है, लेकिन मैं उन लोगों को मिस कर रहा हूँ जो बिगिनिंग से थे। जैसे कि मैं बिगिनिंग वाला जो कि स्टार्टअप वाला जो भी फीडबैक्स आए थे, मैं उस पार्ट्स को दिखा रहा हूँ। सो जैसे कि ई कॉमर्स, पिक्चर एडिटिंग, फोटो एडिटिंग्स और क्या क्या इसमें जो भी हमारे जो कि फीडबैक्स मिले, काफ़ी सारे अच्छे फीडबैक्स मिले, गुड, ग्रेट, यानी कि ये अपनी तरफ से ठीक ठाक दिए। एक में एवरेज आया है जीमेल एंड ड्राइव में, बाकी फिर ठीक ठाक ही है। अगर कुछ ट्रबल रहा हियरिंग वगैरह में, तो उसमें भी कुछ हैं, जैसे कि MS पावर पॉइंट में रहा, तो ऐसा कुछ इन लोगों का नेटवर्क इशू वगैरह भी रहा। लेकिन जितने भी लोगों ने क्लास को अटेंड किया है, उन लोगों ने मतलब कि कुछ होता ना कि थोड़ा कम फीडबैक दे, ऐसा कुछ किसी ने भी नहीं किया। पर जो अटेंड ही नहीं किए हैं, सो हम उन लोगों को मिस कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि अगर वो अटेंड किए होते तो मिलता है गलती किया हूँ तो उस चीज़ को मैं सुधारूंगा। तो मुझे चाहिए था कि थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव फीडबैक मुझे मिले, पर नेगेटिव फीडबैक एक भी नहीं दे रहे हैं, सभी अच्छे फीडबैक दे रहे हैं। सो ये प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि अब बेस्ट तो हम भी नहीं है। सो सुधार के लिए हमें कुछ अच्छा फीडबैक हमेशा नहीं चाहिए, थोड़ा सा बुरा फीडबैक भी मिले ताकि मैं उसे इम्प्रूव कर सकूं। बाकी मैं यहाँ पे सजेशंस भी पढ़ रहा था, तो सभी ने अच्छा ही दिया। थोड़ी कुछ सजेशंस मुझे मिले जो कि उसको मैंने इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश किया। जैसे कि टाइमिंग कभी कभी जो है ना इंक्रीज हो जाती है, और कभी कभी हमारी जो कि सिस्टम्स वगैरह की होती है साउंड क्वालिटी, वो जो है अच्छे से नहीं पहुंच पाती है, तो उसके लिए हम लोगों ने ईयरफोन वगैरह की साउंड क्वालिटी पहुंच जाए, और इंटरनेट की भी काफ़ी सुधार किया। पर कुछ जो कि स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जिनके जो यूजर हैं, वो लोग इंटरनेट की इस्तेमाल रेगुलरली करते हैं, जिस कारण से उनकी डेटा इरेज खत्म हो जाती है, तो जिस कारण से हमारी जो कि क्लास है उससे बीच में डिसकंटिन्यू भी हो जाते हैं। तो ये सभी प्रॉब्लम हम लोगों ने फेस किया। बाकी सभी फीडबैक्स के मामले में अच्छे रहे, और क्लास की जो कि हम लोगों ने असाइनमेंट्स पाया है, और उसके थ्रू आने के बाद जो असाइनमेंट्स मुझे मिले हैं, वो मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लगा। जो जो मैंने डिमांड्स किए थे, जो चीज़ को प्रैक्टिस करने को दिया था, वो सभी मैंने पाया है।
Pranali, would you like to add something?
क्लास में अच्छा लगा, बच्चों का पार्टिसिपेशन भी अच्छा ही रहा, मदर्स का भी लगभग अच्छा ही था, और मुझे भी बहुत कुछ सीखने के लिए मिला इस पूरी प्रोजेक्ट के दौरान, दिशा के दौरान। बस यही था।
Diana ji, Sridhar?
Yes, sir. I mean, pretty much Subodh sir and Rohit has covered that pretty much everything. And yes, sir, it is a great experience. We got an opportunity to learn ourselves as well. And because some of the questions, whatever the students have raised, so some of them we could able to answer them, some of them we could not able to. So we got an opportunity there. We learned ourselves and could able to train them as well. So that was very good. So far, yeah, feedback seems to be fine. Everyone are liking them, and in fact, these students are younger generation, so they know much more than us, and they want more innovative stuff, like more apps or games related stuff. So definitely, that is what we learned a lot based on app challenge. Whatever we saw, they came up with several new apps like Plant Snap or Instagram and Telegram and all these things. Those are all very interesting apps they are choosing. So based on their what is that choice, I can definitely say that they want more from us. So definitely, as per their feedback and as per their interest, we can definitely improve ourselves and do our best so that we can improve our quality and also attendance and other areas where we need an improvement.
Diana ji, Shweta ji, you want to add something?
Yeah, overall it was good. मैंने जो चीज नोटिस किया है, इसमें थोड़ा सा ओवर सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच पे चले गए हम। जो एक बच्चों के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, जिस लेवल के बच्चे हैं जो अपने लाइफ में काफी बुरे एक्सपीरियंस किया हो, तो जिनके थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन भी इतना अच्छा नहीं है, काफी इकोनॉमिकल सोशल डिफिकल्टीज एरियाज में रह रहे हैं, वो सब समझ के हम थोड़ा सा और बेटर रिलेशन के साथ इस प्रोजेक्ट को लेके जाए, तो थोड़ा सा इमोशनल सपोर्ट भी शायद इसमें रहता है। तो अब मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक थोड़ा हेक्टिक लेवल पे हम सिलेबस कंप्लीट करना है, असाइनमेंट्स कंप्लीट करना है, बच्चों को फोन कर रहा है, तो एक प्रेशर लेवल पे बच्चों को फील होने लगे हैं बीच में। इवन डायना और बर्नाली सबने वही महसूस किया है। तो मेरे को लगा इसमें थोड़ा सा टाइम, कुछ एंटरटेनमेंट हो, फन हो, और टीचर और स्टूडेंट का रिलेशन थोड़ा और बेटर अप्रोच में हो सकता, तो थोड़ा एक इमोशनल फीलिंग्स में आ जाते। मतलब एक सिलेबस कंप्लीट करना है, बच्चों को थोड़ा हेक्टिक फील होने लगे हैं, तो प्रेशर से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, ऐसे भी बीच बीच में हुआ है। मतलब थोड़ा सा और हमें अप्रोच थोड़ा और बेटर होना चाहिए। फैकल्टीज को भी उनका बैकग्राउंड क्या है वो थोड़ा समझ हो, तो थोड़ा और बेटर रिलेशन मेंटेन हो सकते थे। एक सिलेबस कंप्लीट करना है, एक कोचिंग सेंटर में आके क्लास कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं, उसी फीलिंग से हटके थोड़ा सा इमोशनल सपोर्ट के साथ हम इसको चलाए तो थोड़ा और बेटर हो सकता था।
That's a really important point, Diana ji. Thank you. Sujata ji, thank you. Diana ji, आपको कुछ ऐड करना?
It's a pilot project, ना? तो कुछ we are all new in this project. नहीं सर, सुबोध सर का तो टीचिंग में बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है. The whole team has good experience in teaching. लेकिन हम लोगों के लिए जो है, we are in the working in the grassroots level. तो उसके लिए बच्चों के साथ we were working with उनके crafting activities, छोटा-छोटा activities. It's a new thing for us. तो उसमें it's a learning process. हमने भी बहुत कुछ सीखा about different apps and everything. Then हाँ, बच्चों को थोड़ा उनके वर्क प्रेशर के ऊपर, स्कूल का ऑनलाइन क्लास वर्क प्रेशर के ऊपर इन लोगों को और आती भी नहीं है वो लोग, देन एक तो उनका डिवाइस का प्रॉब्लम, दे हैड टू शेयर डिवाइस विद देयर सिबलिंग्स, तो डिवाइस का प्रॉब्लम भी आ गया, देन फिर डाटा का प्रॉब्लम आ गया, तो ट्यूटोरियल में भी नहीं आ पाते बिकॉज दे हैव फिनिश। अब क्लास होते होते इनका डाटा खत्म हो जाता है, दे डोंट रिफिल इट, तो उसके बाद वो क्लास से ही बाहर हो जाते हैं। और ऊपर से वीकडेज में किया, इसमें और ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम। इफ इट वर ऑन संडेज हॉलीडेज, जो जब इनका फ्री होता तो इट वुड हैव बीन मोर अटेंडेंस वुड हैव बीन देयर, दैट्स व्हाट आई फील। थोड़ा बहुत रिलैक्स मैनर में चले तो चलेगा, तो वी हैव लर्न फ्रॉम दिस एक्सपीरियंस, अगले नेक्स्ट सेशन में तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा आई थिंक।
Okay, so I think if I try to sum all the points that we discussed up, one important point is जो सुबोध जी ने kind of address किया कि we have to be a little more sure about our target audience. So whatever the next phase of Disha is, both in Northeast and also in J&K, we have to be clear about कि हम किन बच्चों को टारगेट कर रहे हैं, उनकी क्या एज ग्रुप है, उनकी मदर्स इन्वॉल्व है कि नहीं है, so that we can plan accordingly. That is, I think that is where Subodh ji also felt a little confused as to who is the target audience, and I think a lot of us felt a little confused कि हमारी exact target audience क्या होनी चाहिए. So I think that's one thing that we can all kind of brainstorm and come up with कि what should be our target audience, क्या age group के बच्चों को हम target कर रहे हैं. That is one. Based on that, we can figure out हम कितना rigorous schedule रख सकते हैं, कितना वो बच्चे afford कर पाएंगे. अगर वो थोड़े बड़े बच्चे हैं तो शायद वो थोड़ा ज्यादा रेगुलर हो पाएंगे, थोड़े कम उम्र के बच्चे हैं तो वी विल हैव टू इन्वॉल्व मोर फन एक्टिविटीज, जो आई थिंक सुबोध जी ने जो लास्ट मंडे को जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिया था उसमें भी वी डिस्कस दिस कि हाउ कैन वी इन्वॉल्व मोर फन एक्टिविटीज एंड other kinds of things. We can maybe have quizzes every month, so we can do things like that to increase more involvement, make it more fun. But at the same time, we'll also be able to then know how regularly children can attend it. So how many tutorials can we have? Now, for tutorials, I have one suggestion. Subodh ji, I think last time मैंने उसको hint किया था थोड़ा, वो ये कि क्योंकि उसमें डेटा का प्रॉब्लम भी आता है एंड JNK में तो डेटा का और भी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होने वाला है. When we moved from Manipur and Assam to JNK, because we have not been able to have great sessions with JNK, we are facing a lot of trouble even for our regular interact sessions and all of that because of network. So what maybe we can do is we can have one class for the group in the week, and instead of tutorial we can have a kind of a helpline situation where we tell them कि आप 4 to 6 इस नंबर पे हमें कॉल करके if you have any query तो आप पूछ सकते हो. You think that would be like, और उसमें बच्चों को भी ये प्रेशर नहीं होगा that all of them have to be there for the tutorial. Only those people who actually have a query or who actually need some clarification will come.
I have a little two different school of thought. I don't know whether it's really a different. See, if we have an agenda that we are here to help them learn, or they have also come to learn certain things. Now, can they learn without practice? Can they learn, I mean, maybe with a relaxed environment and fun? Somehow I feel, unless one completes कहते हैं कि 10,000 hours of practice makes you champion. It is no and there's a well researched work. Unless you put in certain hours of work, there is nothing just drops it. It's and so therefore maybe while we should have a fun, they should not feel if it is a part of a habit and routine, they do it, then they will learn. The second thing is, are we serious making an entry in their learning space, or we are just touching it? See, I think we need to also make a call. See, if we are making a serious change, So obviously that can come if with certain level of rigor, certain level of hours of and then Rohit was very clear in the beginning. When I asked him, what do you want? See, we want certain level of commitment. See, without certain level of commitment, see, if it becomes a completely the supply driven, then there is a problem. It has to be a demand driven also. So we made help in developing demand, the pull factor. I call it a push factor and a pull factor. Push factor is that Rohit have got a very good, excellent animated PowerPoint slides with complete Bernali's translation. Yet people are so it is a supply side. We are okay with supply, but are we able to build the demand pull factor? It, the pull factor can make it even more interesting, more so. Uh, uh, that side, there is a need to work either through fun weekly exam, weekly quizzes. So if there is a demand, then we also are challenged. As Rohit said, we also want some critical feedback. Because we also want to improve, and improving will happen when there is a intense interaction or uh, times. I'm not saying we just take an approach which is fixed. No, none of us is fixed, but we have to take approach so that there is a either uh, so. And coming to the data pack, what is the cost of data pack these days? It's not so huge. Now, if they want to make a commitment of learning, can they not spend that data pack? This is another thing, timing. I was thinking maybe our timing should be in the morning. So the fresh data pack, when they get the data pack, normally you have class at 3 p.m. or the tutorial at the 5 p.m. Then what happens, you finish your data pack in the morning and the evening you have nothing, or, so, looking at whether the timing wise we should have in the beginning and then, so there's a few points that I thought maybe I just make it.
So okay. So let me discuss some of these. See, the thing is, like what I think Diana ji is also suggesting in some ways is that there are some practical issues with what is happening. Okay, and the thing is that we can ask them, if you're really interested, why can't you get a data pack? But will they get a data pack is not in our hands. And also, if they do, even if they do get a data pack, what happens is this. Let's say, for example, let's assume Vodafone has a 299 ka pack for 1 GB data, 1.5 GB data. Now that is what they can afford, maybe 299. The next one is 499, which they can't afford. And in the 1.5 GB data, unka din nahi nikal pata hai. By the time the evening comes, 1.5 GB is gone. So, now we can't really expect them to buy 200 ka pack for every month just for this, So there is, this is a very practical problem. And also, like people, like for example, in Kashmir, I have had the privilege of, being with Shataji and Vibhuti for a session. And what we learned was that these are all, a lot of them are single mothers. They don't have enough money to even get food properly. So we cannot make an expectation of them from buying. Like it may be a very small sum for us, but it is not a small sum for them. So we have to be considerate about that somehow. We have to figure, like when somebody asks me this question, I'll go like, don't they have Wi-Fi? But coming back to the other part of it, I do agree that we need to make it more engaging and all of that. लेकिन पता है उसमें भी the problem that is happening is this, which I learned from Banali and Diana ji when we were discussing it also. That's why I'm saying that we have to have the right target audience. For older children, we can expect that kind of commitment from them. Above 15, 14, 15, bache, they can have that kind of commitment. They will come that regularly, But if there's a child who is below 14, in my experience, it's very difficult to have that kind of commitment unless you are having fun every day, which is, going to be that. So instead of thinking of this as a course which is aimed at, you know, teaching them hardcore things only, think of this as a bridge. Think of this as something which encourages them to eventually go into serious learning of these topics. Think of this as something which is, that in between space between the world where they don't learn at all and the world where they completely learn. If you think of this as the space where they completely learn, then that kind of commitment is difficult, because, like, I'll take the example that, you discussed on the app challenge. In Super 30, those children stay in that house and they study. That is how they work. But if they have a family, and if they have to go and, in the evening, help their mothers to cook, and go to the school in the morning for a separate thing, then an experiment like Super 30 will not work. It will only work when you put all the children together. They all study all day together, and they have this kind of thing. So so our objective is to take the children from their, this kind of hybrid setup of home and school and whatnot, to a level where they want to be a part of something like this with full commitment. And that's why the age that I suggest at targeting is somewhere between 10 to 14, 15. So if you use that age as a bridge, so by the time the child is 15, they are genuinely interested. Then we can give them a serious course, like an advanced course on this, and then they will come. Then they will figure it out. They will buy the data pack. But we are expecting that level of commitment without giving them that transition, without giving them that transition space to make that choice themselves and come. We are giving them a program, like we give them a program, and then we expect them to, no, but you have to be regular and you have to come every day. But that, how will that convince anybody? That will not convince me. If somebody comes to me with a program and tells me that here's a program and you have to come every day, 90% chances I will say no to it, because I can't give that kind of commitment unless I'm really sure that this is something that's going to benefit me, for which I will need a transition phase. I will attend a few classes, I'll see, maybe this is something I'm interested in, and then slowly, slowly I will build it up. So, so we have to use, at least right now where we are with Disha, we have to use that as that transition space. Maybe later when we are at a point where we are more confident about it and we have a dedicated student base, which is going to give us word of mouth. So if in 2 years we reach a place where we have 50, 60 alumni who've done really well, or who are doing really well, then that is the word of mouth that will get a lot of people to us. And then children will come with full commitment, with data packs, and they'll come for tutorials every day and attend all the classes. Because by that time we would have built that brand that, people will believe in. So that's what my idea is. That's how I look at Disha, at least. And Sujata ji and Diana ji and, Subodh ji, you all can add to this, what you feel about it. But really, for me, and also, like, I'll give you one more example. So we have Ashwini ji's classes on every Tuesday, and we have one on Wednesday by Namik ji, and then we have Rajneesh and Pakul ji's classes. Last year we had really high number on those classes, and then they went down because this year the pandemic has been very harsh. A lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of things have happened, so the numbers went down. But even now, Ashwini ji is scoring very well because his classes are the most fun, and he is able to attract audience from almost all age groups, because he tells, like, he does fun science classes, but it's super interactive, and he brings in slides from everywhere, like from films, from video games, from all kind of popular culture, and somehow he is able to retain around 100k average on his classes. So so that's something, I think I can take inspiration from, and you know take some tips from about how to make it more engaging. So these are some of the ideas that I have, but let's kind of open it up and see what other people also feel. Bernali, do you want to add something? Because you've been like in direct touch. Sridhar, you've also directly dealt with children.
Yeah, actually, what you mentioned was good. And see, from our end, when we say students to this is the time we mentioned like this time also we have chosen based on their advice or need only. We didn't say that okay, this is the time when you got to come. So we have analyzed initially. We made calls and planned as accordingly. In fact, we thought of having Monday, Wednesday, and Friday kind of thing. But based on their choice only, we have done it. But still, we saw some people when they attend lecture class, they don't want to attend tutorials. Based on the feedback, I'm just revealing these things. But um, definitely, we got to improve a lot in making them attractive. As you mentioned, like innovative kind of technologies we got to bring in, and it got to be like an interactive way so that they would get attracted and keep on coming. When would be the next class? When would be the next? That kind of attitude they need to come up with.
To add to what Sridhar was saying, like see, even the class timing, we had to have a negotiation because basically the children wanted, as far as I remember, Sundays. Barnali, Diana can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were initially going for Sundays, but then uh, we also wanted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but then the children were not comfortable with it, so we came in between. Like the children wanted Sunday, but we wanted these days, so we eventually settled for a Saturday. I think that's how we went about it. So the thing is that we have to really do a little more background thing, and that's why what I suggest, especially for Kashmir, Subodhji, is that let's have a meeting with the Kashmir team, get what their needs are, and have a conversation separately with them about what all do they think is a good idea to go about with and to plan with, so that we are all on the same page and we know exactly what is going to be the age group, what is the expected number, and things like that. So let's have a separate meeting with the Kashmir team for the J&K thing. Let's focus on right now Disha ka second phase in Assam and Manipur. So Diana ji, Subodh ji, Suyata ji, Rohit, Sridhar, Pranali, what all do you think we can move forward with based on our experience in this? And having said all that we have discussed, I would also say that whatever feedback I have got from the team and from some of the children also has been very good, and I think that's really encouraging. The children who did attend are all very happy. It's another story that some children did not attend. Unko attract karna is a thing that we have to have in mind. But the ones who did attend, they were very happy with it, and they were all praised. So that's something really encouraging. So how do we sustain that interest and then add some more in our next phase is what I think we should focus on.
In the next 5 minutes, I have actually another meeting from 4 o'clock. So if we could close this by then.
So let's just like quickly have a chat about what we want in the next phase. Maybe you can start, Subodhji, because I think you'll have a more clear idea about how you were thinking to take this forward.
In the second phase in Assam and I would say the Manipur and that area, one is the target. I think we have to have a clarity on the target. So we would, and I think it's not a good idea to mix very elderly people, send them livelihood and
I agree. Mixed groups, mixed group is not
because it's very, very specific, and then it becomes a problem. If at all, if they are, then let's have two different groups and two different batches. It's possible to have two different batches. But if there is a one batch, then have one. And and we need a starting the batch, some kind of 2-3 meetings with the people like this, and talking to them, their timing and their interest, and then what is their pain point, what is their need, all that we need a kind of a discussion. So that of course Dinah madam must be talking, but maybe in a group, so that our design also becomes gets impacted based on the requirement.
Yeah, I agree with you, sir, and I need to do a background research all over again for the second batch, and for that I'll be needing some time. चाहिए. In the meantime, let's do the Kashmir phase because winter time आ गया तो वो भी problem हो जाएगा, network का issues आ जाएगा.
The current Disha program ends on by the end of August, so we still have 25 days. If you can use that. ठीक है, so you take some time, but let's have a meeting with the Kashmir team
नहीं, I'll be
separately.
with the when Kashmir का team चल रहा है तो I'll be there.
So may I just suggest, just to close this meeting, one of the things that I suggest is कि Dina ji and Bernali, I would request you if you can write a kind of a short report जैसे सुबोध जी ने create की है about the experience with Disha, so that we can use that as a basis for the next phase of it proposal. Sridhar and Rohit Sebi, I will request based on their experience. All I want is things like which group के लिए like you would want to focus, how would you want to divide age groups, which age group उसमें किस level का course होगा, उस तरीके के basic, मतलब I don't want a very detailed thing, just write a paragraph. Okay, so if you can do that, then it will give us all a little bit clarity, because you are the people who are teaching.
That will be done.
So because you are the people who are teaching, who are directly related to the children, tell us, like Dana ji and all, you tell us which is the best time for the children to study. What can be the best timings and all of that. Give us like 2-3 options so that then Saral Services can choose one of those options. Similarly, for Rohit and Sridhar and the rest of the team, figure out how you want to divide the age groups. What do you want to focus on? Some basic points. Just that much abhi ke liye.
Okay.
So based on that, then we can have another meeting with Subodh ji when it's possible, and then we can write a proposal and take it forward. है ना Subodh ji?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Good,
you
so
so
we are on
much.
time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, see, this is a good moderator, Chaliye, okay, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, bye.